GeoMart and Sharda University.
A massive political controversy is brewing after Gujarat Congress Chief Jagdish Thakur said at an event that minorities have the first right to the properties and resources of this country. The BJP hits back at the Congress over the resources remark, saying that appeasement politics took the Congress to abyss. Har Ghar Tiranga, now a national chorus as India prepares to mark 75 years of independence. Himanta Biswa Sarma speaks to Republic, says there's a massive revolt against the Vadras in Assam now. Delhi LG recommends probe into Delhi excise policy. Kejriwal claims Sisodia will be arrested in a fake case. Opposition rift wide open now after TMC decides to abstain from VP elections. Alva hits out at the party. A statement by a Congress leader has stirred another political controversy. Gujarat Congress State President Jagdish Thakur claimed that former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh said that minorities have the first right over the country's resources, and the Congress party is still associated with that ideology. He didn't stop there. He even promised certain amenities for the minority community. The BJP, unsurprisingly, has come down heavily on this, criticizing both the leader and the party. But the question is, despite knowing the damage the appeasement policy has caused the party, why is the Congress still following it? We debate after this short report.
We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development.
Congress is once again trying to gain from its appeasement policy. Debacles in many state elections, notwithstanding, the Gujarat Congress State President reiterated former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's ideology that minorities have first right on resources, promising houses for a section of people of society.
प्रधानमंत्री कहता था क्या हिंदुस्तानी तिजोरी पर सौથી પહેલો અધિકાર માઇનોરિટી આ દેશનો કોંગ્રેસનો પ્રધાનમંત્રી ડંકાની ચોટ ઉપર
Thakur said, Dr. Manmohan Singh said that the minorities have the first right over the country's resources. The Congress is still associated with that ideology. Hitting back at the Congress, BJP on Friday took a dig at Congress Gujarat Chief Jagdish Thakur's speech and said that for BJP and Prime Minister Modi, poor have the first right on resources of the nation.
हिंदुओं को सदा से ग्रहण करने का नागरिक बना के मुस्लिम तुष्टिकरण की राह पर चलने वाली कांग्रेस आज फिर दोबारा से बेनकाब हो गई है। जो बात पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह कहा करते थे, उस बात को कांग्रेस के गुजरात अध्यक्ष ने दोहराया है। इसका मतलब साफ है।
Thakur's statement will once again put Congress on back foot, already battling dissent and depleting mass connect. But the burning question is, would this appeasement policy help Congress?
And let me introduce my guests on Burning Question tonight. I have BJP spokesperson Rajiv Pandey joining us on the show. Savvy Rodrigues, chief editor of Goa Chronicle, joins us on Burning Question. Rishi Bagri, political observer, joins us on the show, and so does Sujata Pandey. I have George Kurian, political strategist, joining us on the show. Abid Mir Magami, who's the youth leader for Congress Party, joins us. Ashwini Handa, media coordinator for Pradesh District Congress Jammu, joins us, and so does Irshad Hussain, media panelist for Impar. Thank you so much to all of you for joining me on Burning Question. And let me just begin with Abid. Abid, the first right to properties and resources for the country belongs to the minorities?
Yeah, it's a guarantee by the Constitution. The First Amendment given all the citizens basic rights, whether it is minority, whether it is minority. So what's wrong in it? Everyone have a right.
No. Sorry. Abid, I couldn't get you. The Constitution says that the first right belongs to the minorities. Is that what you're saying?
No, the Constitution says all the citizens have basic rights, whether it is minority, whether it is majority. Everyone have a right.
No,
It's granted by the Constitution.
he should read
I
Article
really want to
14.
put this into context. Your leader from Gujarat very clearly says that the first right to all the resources of the country belong to the minorities. A statement made by ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. He was merely reiterating it, but not just reiterating, he very clearly stood by it. And he said that the Muslims should unite and should support us. Now, I'm asking you, this kind of a statement at an event which was organized for the Muslims of the country, which was organized by the Congress party, and he was claiming that the right belongs to them. What was he trying to do? And do you stand by it as a party, I'm asking?
No, as a party, I'm clearly said that the First Amendment given all the citizens basic rights. It's a clear statement. It's a Congress ideology. Everyone is same.
I'm really sorry. I'm having a difficulty understanding what Abid Mir is saying. We'll just get the audio corrected. I'll come back to you. Let me go across to Rajiv. Rajiv ji, I think it was a statement that was made by Manmohan Singh, and for so many years the Congress party had tried to own it, and they also tried to disown it. Now we really don't know. Right before the Gujarat politics, again this statement comes up. And we know, and do we have doubts who's trying to communalize now?
Sucharita ji, Congress is the habitual offender in politicizing. If you see before independence also what they have done on the Muslim issue. If you remember Khilafat movement, how this whole politics came into India. You know, something was happening after First World War in far away, and Congress has started doing some kind of agitation. No, he is also our Khalifa. I don't want to go into that. But Congress party has always behaved. If you see the Bihar politics of Congress, Uttar Pradesh politics of Congress, and now Kerala politics, where the Rahul Gandhi is now got the refuse in that area. Otherwise, from UP, he was thrown out by the people of Uttar Pradesh. What I'm trying to say, and what Congress representative was trying to say on your channel, that every individual, every person has, that is right. Article 14 says equality before law, but it is the Congress party. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's constitution says all are equal, equality before law under Article 14. Congress says no, minorities have first right.
सुचित्रा जी, मैं जवाब देना चाहूंगा इनको।
और रुको यार, बीच में
बिल्कुल गलत
Let me understand from Ashwini Handa that they still believe in Baba Sahib's constitution, or they're writing one of their own. So let me just understand from Ashwini Handa, are they writing one of their own? Okay.
सुचित्रा जी, आज आपने बहुत बढ़िया काम किया कि आपने मनमोहन सिंह जी का एक वाइट चलाया है, जिसमें उन्होंने साफ कहा है। मुझे बताइए वो उन्होंने कहा है कि पहला अधिकार जो है वो मुस्लिम समुदाय का होगा या मिनॉरिटी का होगा। उन्होंने साफ कहा कि जितना भी अधिकार है वो बराबर होंगे, इक्वल होंगे, इक्विटी है देश के अंदर। और वही बात जो है बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर ने की है, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसको गलत तरीके से पेश करके देश को गुमराह करती है।
की बात हो रही होती तो फिर इतना हंगामा नहीं होता ना सर। सर, इक्वल राइट्स की बात नहीं हो रही है, इसीलिए हंगामा हो रहा है। If they were saying this, then there was no controversy, there was no debate, sir. I don't think you heard what Jagdish Thakur said. Did you hear what Jagdish Thakur said?
No.
Just one line I wanted to just add. Then he can respond.
सुचित्रा जी, what I'm saying, प्रोपेगेंडा भारतीय जनता पार्टी का बिल्कुल।
Okay, Rajiv ji, I'll come to you. Let Ashwini respond to it. Let Ashwini respond to it, and I will come back to you for an interjection.
सुचित्रा जी, एक बार पूरे भारत को मनमोहन सिंह जी के एक वाइट द्वारा से अगर आप दिखाना चाहें तो दिखा सकते हैं। मुझे बताइए उसमें कहां पर मनमोहन सिंह जी ने ये कहा कि पहला अधिकार जो है वो मिनॉरिटी का होगा।
सर, इतने सालों से उनकी इस बयान पर इतना विवाद हो गया, सुनने की जरूरत है क्या सर?
आपने चलाया ना अभी,
इतने सालों तक आज तक समझ नहीं आया आप उनकी उस बात को एंडोर्स करना चाहते हैं कि नहीं करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि आप उसमें पॉलिटिकल अपने लिए सियासी फायदा भी देखते हैं सर। यू सी पॉलिटिकल गेन आउट ऑफ इट, बट यू आल्सो डोंट वांट टू ओन इट।
प्रोपेगेंडा की तरह उसको पेश किया जाता है। क्या मैं इनसे पूछता हूँ कि क्या भारत के अंदर minority का कोई अधिकार नहीं है?
Why does this question come up on the media time and again? No, Ashwini Handa. There is no question on getting the media into this. It's a direct remark. It's a direct statement made by Jagdish Thakur, and he very clearly said this is what Manmohan Singh said, and I am reiterating it, and we stand by it. That is the statement. Now, Rajiv, just quickly your interjection, and then I'll go to Savio.
Only 30 seconds. What I started, that Indian constitution written by Baba Sahib Ambedkar is not accepted by Congress, because when on the basis of that constitution, Sahabano was given rights by Honorable Supreme Court of India. It was Rajiv Gandhi who said, whatever Baba Sahib did, I will not accept. Whatever Supreme Court did, I will not accept. And they changed the constitution.
Totally
1 second. Why you are talking nonsense? Allow me to complete. Everybody knows, Sucharita ji, that how Sahabano judgment was overturned by Rajiv Gandhi. It is all for appeasing Muslims, which will not be good, Sucharita ji.
No, so
even Supreme Court judgment was overturned. You remember now, in Sahabano case, Supreme Court judgment was reversed because they wanted to appease. Today also same thing is happening. Sucharita ji, I am very sad. Whatever BJP does, it is for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. If roads are constructed, if house is being given, if under Ujjwala Yojana, gas connection is given, there is no discrimination. But we will not accept this. Not accept this. Then you will say that first right is of Muslim or minorities. This is nonsense.
No, but are we reading it wrongly, Savio? Savio, the statement is out in the open for everyone to hear. Where is the scope for misinterpretation, Savio? Very clearly, Jagdish Thakur says the properties, the first right to resources belongs to the minorities. That is what he's saying. Where is the scope for misinterpretation, Savio?
Well, Sucharita, I'd like to make 3 points. And I hope my panelists give me 30 seconds to make that point. Firstly, minority and majority division in India is an insult to the idea of a democratic India, where every citizen is equal in the eyes of the Constitution and everyone is a child of Mother India. So the very concept of minority and majority is an insult to the Constitution of India. Second, the principles of divisions of minority and majority in India is completely skewed and myopic in its approach. For examples, in some areas where the Hindus are a minority, they are considered to be the majority. And in some places where the Christians and the Muslims are a majority, they are still considered to be the minority. Now the question is, and which is the real basis of the conflict of minority and majority in this country for years. That's the reason of the conflict. The conflict is, why are we minority and majority in India? Are we not all Indians? Are we not united by this very simple principle that the Constitution of India gives every citizen a right to be called an Indian, to live as an Indian? So why should we be divided on the basis of religion? And if we are divided on the basis of minority and majority, it is where the problem is coming from. And that is why divisions such as the Minority Affairs Ministry, divisions such as the minority cells in political parties is where the seeds of division for this country actually arises. And it's about time we start looking at each other as Indians only, and not because we are minority and majority. And that's where the problem lies. If we don't solve this problem, we are continuing to have ridiculous statements made by this Congress gentleman.
So I go across to George Kurian. Right. Absolutely. And that's why George Kurian, when Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is spoken about, that is attacked. But when a statement like this comes, it is being defended.
Good evening to all your viewers. Sucharita, let me begin by saying that today the Congress president, Gujarat state president, has put the Congress party on a back foot by saying that homes for Muslims and just keeping it specifically to Muslims in the minority. Manmohan Singh in the past had made the statement at the National Development Council where he mentioned that the upliftment for the minorities, that was the whole idea. Now I strongly believe, I'm not sure if Jagdish Thakur has taken the AICC in charge in confidence, and under his knowledge he has made such a statement, which will definitely not help the Congress party in the upcoming assembly elections.
Now, the whole idea, Rishi, of minorities, as Savio put it, is also skewed. Now, in a place like Kashmir, who are the minorities and who's the majority? He's rightly put it at that. And then again, despite of that, I would like to say that the Constitution speaks of everyone as equals. Now, as political party, we are trying to divide. We are talking about Hindu and Musliman because we know there's an election to be won.
No, I don't understand who is guiding and who is advising Congress in following this mindless pursuit of minority vote bank and the appeasement politics. And ironically, the same vote banks has actually abandoned them in West Bengal, Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh, in Kerala. Even minority voters don't want to touch Congress with a barge pole. Rather, they prefer some regional parties over the Congress. And you know, recently they supported this regressive hijab, and they lost 5 states. It was a 5-0 whitewash. They upturned Shah Bano judgment, and they lost Lok Sabha election in 1989. I mean, I don't understand why they are just going after a particular vote bank which has actually abandoned them. I mean, who is giving them this kind of idiotic and stupid suggestion, and who is giving them this kind of idiotic strategy? Rather than going to the bottom of the pyramid, they are actually going Hindu Muslims. They are doing that. We are going to give homes to the Muslim. Why only Muslims? Why can't you give the home to the less privileged, less economically backward person who actually need the home?
Also talking of a specific, they also speak of a separate manifesto for the Muslims. Did you hear that? He's very clearly appealing that Muslims need to unite, they need to come together, and he also speaks of a separate manifesto for them. Why?
But Sucharita, that is what I'm saying. The Muslim no more votes for the Congress anymore. You have seen what happened in Uttar Pradesh. You have seen what happened in Bihar. You have seen what happened in West Bengal. Even West Bengal Muslim have actually deserted Congress and went to the TMC. So the kind of the polarization they want to do, the kind of appeasement politics they want to practice is actually has no takers. They actually antagonize the majority voters.
There are no takers
and they
for you in the Muslim community. Then why you? Even though you're trying to communalize right before an election, Rishi Bagri very clearly saying you do not have any takers in the Muslim community.
सुचा पूरा देश जानता है कि उत्तर प्रदेश में किसने 80-20 किया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस मुद्दे को आगे बढ़ाना चाहती है, जो कि ये स्टेटमेंट पूरी तरीके से नहीं दिया गया है। सिर्फ इतना कहा गया है कि मुस्लिम का भी उतना ही हक है जितना किसी और का है। लेकिन उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जिस तरह से 80-20 कहा गया, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की नीतियां हैं। जिस तरीके से धर्म के नाम पर बांटा जाता है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को लगता है कि गुजरात के अंदर उनकी जमीन खत्म होते जा रही है। आज जिस तरीके से सूरत के अंदर आज जो गुजरात मॉडल है पूरे देश ने देखा, जिस तरीके से हेलो
सर, आप कौन सी दुनिया में रह रहे हैं? कौन सी जमीन खत्म हो गई है?
Can we take Rajiv Pandey on the screen with him, please? He is directly attacking the BJP. So let Rajiv Pandey respond to that. Ashwini ji, you think that the Muslims are siding with you? If you were thinking that, I don't think you would be communalizing right before the elections. And if you think they are with you, Rajiv Pandey very clearly saying you've lost it all. And with that kind of statement, you do not even have others with you.
जिस तरीके से डिजास्टर आज हुआ है गुजरात के अंदर, पूरा देश देख रहा है कि गुजरात मतलब क्या है। आज अहमदाबाद में देखा कि किस तरीके से पूरा पानी का पानी हो गया है। बताइए ना देश को, आपने गुजरात में क्या एडवांसमेंट की है? कुछ नहीं है, आपकी जमीन खिसक चुकी है। इसी की वजह से आज
राजीव respond to that. Rajiv ji, respond to that. I'll come to you,
Sucharita ji, in the last election, I'm responding. You have put a question. What is this? Sucharita ji, can you tell him to? He's repeating himself.
Okay. Ashwini ji, he's responding to you. Let's just listen into his defense.
I'm responding to him.
You've cast allegation. Let's just listen.
I just want to say, the way he is talking, he is actually insulting the voters of Gujarat. who has continuously supported BJP for last several elections in a state as well as center. But what I want to say, in the last election, also BJP increased the vote share. No doubt some seats were reduced. The reason was Congress was doing divisive politics on the basis of caste line. You can remember there was one OBC leader was created, one scheduled caste leader was created, one Patel. Now two leaders are with BJP, and one leader has almost dejected and rejected by the people of the Gujarat. I don't want to go into that debate. What I'm trying to say, allow me to complete. What I'm trying to say, Congress party, if Congress party is thinking, one second. If Congress, can I complete? Ashwini, can I complete? You come on the TV for shouting.
No, Ashwini Handa, I don't think I can understand what you're saying if the both of you are speaking together. Just let him make his point. I'll come across to you.
Just
but
concluding.
Your heart is spinning for Hardik Patel?
30 seconds, I'm concluding. I am saying
your heart is spinning for Hardik Patel? Okay, go ahead.
Sucharta ji, I am only saying, I have explained about the Gujarat politics and election people will give repeating reply. Only I am saying, Congress, this divisive politics is affecting the whole country. What Congress is doing in Rajasthan, we all know what is happening. I am only saying this divisive politics is not in the interest of the country, and this Muslim manifesto, Hindu manifesto and Christian manifesto, all is bad. We should have one manifesto for all the people, and if you see the BJP performance manifesto, then you will find on all the delivery mechanism who are the biggest beneficiary. So what I am trying to say, by polarizing on the basis of, they tried, even a Congress party supporter, Samajwadi party tried in UP that 20% Muslim votes and some votes we will get and we will win the election. They are doing the same thing in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. They are not winning. I am telling people are now people are more mature.
I'll get Sujata Pandey into the debate now. Rajiv ji, I'll get Sujata ji into the debate. Sujata ji, I am a little confused. I don't know. Sometimes their leader becomes a Janeऊ Dhari, and on the other hand, the Congress starts preaching that the right belongs to minorities. Now both things happening. Now there is a signal going into the voters. They do not understand what's happening within the Congress party. Sujata ji.
Exactly. So, Sucharta ji, the first thing is, I think Congress party is perennially confused whether it represents Muslims, whether it represents Dalits, whether it represents tribals. So if you see, or the youth for that matter, because if you represent youth, what is your role model in the state ruled by you, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh? What is a role model? There is no role model. If you represent Muslims, what are the Muslim issues that you're raising to the country that the Muslim youth should be listening to you, or Muslims should be, but perhaps they represent the radicalized Muslims, okay? Then, after representing tribals, if that is the case, then why did you oppose Draupadi Murmuji's presidential election candidate? But यहाँ पे the Congress spokesperson was talking about how divisive politics is being played in Gujarat and how Muslims are suffering in Gujarat. So I will give you a data and give you 1 minute, just 1 minute from the Sachar committee report, which was appointed by Manmohan Singh. So I hope they believe that. So according to Sachar committee report, the literacy rate of Muslims is 73.5% as against the 59.1% in Gujarat. Okay, and this is all about Gujarat. Their access to education is 74.9% as the national average of 60.9%. Their healthcare access is 89.9% as against the national average of 70.7%. The financial status, the per capita income per month of the Gujarati Muslim is 668 rupees, which is higher than the Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, UP and also Karnataka. The road connectivity is 96.7%, where the population is more than 2,000. The employment, because this is where the entire propaganda plays कि मुसलमानों को job नहीं देते हैं and they are sidelined, etc. So let me just tell you that the population of 29.1% in Gujarat, their participation in the important ministries like the home department, the state transport, the public sector is very high. So 5.4%, and if you compare that to West
Bengal, I want to ask a very direct question to
25.
Ashwini Handa, which he still hasn't replied to. Does he stand by what Jagdish Thakur has said? It's very direct, sir. Do you stand by? Does the party stand by what he's saying?
देखिए, जो मनमोहन सिंह जी ने कहा कि पहला अधिकार जो है वो किसी का भी हो, लेकिन सभी समुदायों को लेकर चलना पड़ेगा देश के अंदर। लेकिन मैं अपनी बहन से ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, सुजाता जी से ये पूछना चाहता हूँ,
उन्होंने किसी का भी होने कहा था
कोरोना महामारी के अंदर कितनी टेक्सटाइल्स मिल्स बंद हो गई, आज व्यापारियों की हालत क्या है गुजरात के अंदर, ये बताएंगे देश को?
पर आपकी हालत क्यों खराब है? आपने 77 सीटें जीती, 77
तो वो आप क्या उस वजह से ये स्टेटमेंट दे रहे हैं आपकी पार्टी के गुजरात अध्यक्ष भाई? इस वजह से दे रहे हैं क्या ये स्टेटमेंट?
गुजरात छोड़ के चले गए, ये बताइए देश को। आज पूरे गुजराती जो है ना,
अश्विनी जी, that is a separate debate. I will call you to that debate as well. You can attack Rajiv Pandey, you can attack the BJP for all you want, but we're talking on a different topic right now. And I'm asking you again, do you stand by what Jagdish Thakur said? The first right on all resources belongs to the minorities. Does the party endorse that statement?
हम मनमोहन सिंह जी की स्टेटमेंट के साथ खड़े हैं, जो उन्होंने बोला था कि सभी का अधिकार बराबर है।
आपको दिक्कत हो रही है, you are finding it difficult to answer this question. It's very, very apparent. It's very apparent you are finding it difficult to answer this question. You do not know which side to take because you do not know what the party high command is going to say tomorrow. You also don't know. That's a fact, sir? I can read it on your face, sir. I can read it on your face. You don't know. You don't know what is going to be the line tomorrow, and that is the basic problem that is happening in the Congress party. The leaders don't know what line they have to take. Savio, am I saying the wrong thing?
हमारे लिए सारे धर्म एक जैसे हैं। हर देश का जो नागरिक है, हर किसी को बराबर का अधिकार है।
सर बिल्कुल सही, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए। बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए। लेकिन आपके नेता ने ऐसा बयान नहीं दिया ना सर। आपके नेता ने ऐसा बयान नहीं दिया। सावियो,
मैं कुछ 30 सेकंड्स के लिए बात कर सकता हूँ?
30 सेकंड्स लीजिए सर। सावियो
सर 30 सेकंड्स।
अच्छा, लिसन टू सावियो रॉड्रिक्स नाउ सर।
30 सेकंड्स प्लीज सर। 30 सेकंड्स। पहली चीज ये है कि 20 करोड़ की जो आबादी है ना अभी इस देश में, उनको माइनॉरिटी, the 20 crore population that is there in India, in all fairness, we cannot call them a minority, number one. But let's continue, because they think they are a minority. They want to continue to believe that they deserve more because they are a minority. My dear friends on the panel, please understand, for 75 years, this country has been divided on the basis of religious minorities, when really what is required is that the minority must be focused on the economically marginalized in this country. Today, appeasement politics, whether Hindus, Muslims or Christians or any one of them, is actually like a termite eating into the wood of India. And that's the problem, because every other issue in this country is divided by minorities. Why can we not come together to realize that the Constitution of India puts every Indian equal in the eyes of the law? Every Indian is a son and a daughter of Mother India. So where is the confusion? Why should we say today that we have to do something for the Muslims?
There definitely is a confusion, Savio. There definitely is a confusion.
Do we say we...
Or maybe I should say there is no confusion.
Do we
it is being deliberately said. There is a deliberate attempt to say what is being said, and they know that there is an election around the corner, and this is the best attempt they can make to a best attempt at power. Is that what is happening? Let me just go across to Irshad. Let me go across to Irshad.
Absolutely,
Irshad,
but
the Congress leader Jagdish Thakur not only says what Manmohan Singh said. Manmohan Singh spoke about resources. He speaks about Tijori. So he's also talking about revenue. The first right, Tijori par pehla haq. Not just the resources, mind you. Irshad.
Yeah, thank you, Suchitra, for having me on your show as a guest. Always a pleasure. Well, I'd like to just, because people have spoken a lot, and I'm not a political person, and we'd like to relate anything. Muslims should not be. I mean, at this point in time, you know what I'm feeling like? I'm feeling like Muslims are being. I mean, it's like a scapegoat. You know, people are talking about some people, and the people who are really involved have no say at all. So let me spend 30 seconds talking about this IMPAR, which is Indian Muslims for Progress and Reforms. Which has been formed by the luminaries of so-called luminaries of progressive Muslims. They are members who've been ex-IAS or IPS and in the army, in all sectors of society. So they really understand where the problem is, if there is a problem. Now, coming back to the minority-majority tag, let me be unequivocal in saying that minority tag has not helped the Muslims at all. If you see any data, I'm a man of numbers. I like to quote numbers. But see, in higher education, the least number of people who've been enrolled are Muslims, around 4%. Lesser than the SC, ST, and OBC, right? Then let's talk about the jobs. 3% government jobs have been held by the Muslims. 2.8% jobs have been held by the Muslims in the Indian Armed Forces. Where this minority things helped them in the last 75-80 years? We've been hard about minority things, but has it really helped? It's like a ceremonial thing. Let me take an analogy. Like we have a post of president and a prime minister, right? So president's post is like a ceremonial post.
The audio is not very clear.
Similarly, this minority status for them is just like people just speak it. But on the other side, reservation has helped the
so Irshad, Irshad Hussain. So basically, I should say that you're of the view that the statements are being made only for political gains from the Muslim community. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, your understanding. I'll repeat what I said. These statements are uncalled for at this point in time. Very clear. If somebody wants to do something for the minority,
because Irshad Hussain, you have to take a stand, sir. I would just request you to take a stand. If that is what you're saying, say that point blank. That political gains are being looked at, and that is exactly what the Congress is doing.
Now, Suchitra, the point here is very important. Who will gain politically? I'm not sure. We are not sure that Congress is going to gain because of this. It just depends how the statement is taken, how strong Congress is supporting, or how.
That you're right. That we don't know if it's going to gain from that.
We don't know.
We don't know if it's going to gain from that, Rishi Bagri. We don't know if. I really do not think that this kind of a statement would fetch them political returns, because haven't they done this before? They have. And also, Jagdish Thakur went to the point saying that you know who's done the riots in Gujarat, and they have gained out of it politically. That is why you need to come together. Now, this is something that they've been saying time and again in Gujarat, and right before elections. Has that given them political return? No.
Can I get my 20 seconds?
No, I just want to come in.
I'm taking a comment from Rishi.
Okay, Rishi. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rishi, go ahead.
This is the problem is that this kind of statement comes from the Congress leaders. They don't know. वो लोग रायता फैला देते हैं, इन लोगों को साफ करना पड़ता है. And it's just become like a हड्डी, गले की हड्डी बन जाती है, ना उगलते बनती है, ना निगलते बनती है. The problem is that this kind of statement actually help other parties to polarize, because you make this kind of statement, a Congress leader make this kind of statement, it polarizes the other community. Right. Towards the other side, and they don't get any minority votes, and this is what happening. The minority appeasement is not fetching any vote to the secular parties. So I don't know why they are doing it. They keep doing it, and they keep losing the election after election. Still they don't learn lessons out of it. I don't understand what they are up to. अभी तक क्या कर रहे हैं? They are doing the same thing from 2012, and they are losing election after election. It's almost 10 years, and they haven't learned the lesson. So I don't know what they are up to.
Exactly. Now what Rishi is saying, Ashwini ji, you here as a panelist is trying to make a sensible statement, but in Rishi's words, raita phaila diya Jagdish Thakur ne, and now it's left to you. How do you clean that up, or you want to clean it up or not?
देखिए, गुजरात का इलेक्शन इस बार हम चैलेंज करते हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी को कि विकास के ऊपर लड़े. जो गुजरात मॉडल उन्होंने बताया था 2014 में, उसके ऊपर जाके इलेक्शन लड़े. आपको इससे उसने क्या बोला या किसने क्या बोला उसकी जरूरत नहीं होनी चाहिए. आवश्यकता यह है कि
आपको क्या लग रहा है वो विकास नहीं तो किस पर लड़ रहे हैं?
वो धर्म पे 80-20 में लड़ रहे हैं.
अश्विनी जी, वो तो सबका साथ सबका विकास के नाम पे तो हर चुनाव लड़ते हैं. आप कह रहे हैं विकास पर लड़िए.
देखिए ना, वही तो कहने जा रहे हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो है वो बताए कि विकास वो कहाँ है, जो 2014 से गुजरात मॉडल पूरे देश में दिखाया जाता था.
बार बोलने से कुछ होगा नहीं सुचरिता जी.
अच्छा भाई बताइए विकास कहाँ हो रहा है?
देखिए
this election is to be fought on Vikas. No. Now let me wait. Ashwini ji, if this election is to be fought on Vikas, why the need for statements like your leaders making? Where is the space? You here are saying that this election needs to be fought on development, and your neta there, your leader in Gujarat, who's the head of the party there, is issuing statements on communal appeasement. This is the Vikas that Congress party represents.
सुचित्रा जी, अगर उन्होंने ऐसा कहा है तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी इग्नोर करना चाहिए। इनको इतना ज्यादा कहने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। इनको तो अपने विकास पे
अगर कहा है सर, आपने स्टेटमेंट नहीं सुना? अगर कहा है,
सुचरिता, can I come in?
You want me to play it again for you?
I just want to respond.
Sir, अगर कहा है, अगर मगर तो there's no ifs and buts. No sir, it's a direct statement. I've played this so many times.
स्टैंड पर है और विकास बताए लोगों को, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को विकास को दिखाने के लिए
सुचरिता जी ये पूरा टाइम वेस्ट करते हैं।
ठीक है राजीव जी प्लीज होल्ड आउट अ विकास प्लैकार्ड फॉर द पीपल टू सी। वी डोंट नो व्हाट विकास यू हैव डन, बट दिस विकास कम्स अक्रॉस इन स्टेटमेंट्स बाय जगदीश ठाकुर. It is very clear the vikas that Congress is doing. You please also put out the placard telling us what you've done.
Yes, I'll certainly tell you. First of all, एक बहुत ही सेंसिबल रिमार्क किया है अभी जो इनसे जो कांग्रेस के जो प्रतिनिधि हैं उनसे पहले. He said that the situation of Muslims are not good. It is a fact. And Congress party deliberately did this. They were just used as a vote bank. And that's the reason they have lost now interest in Congress party. So I agree with him on this point. Whether it will benefit BJP or not, that BJP fights election on the basis of development and nationalism. What my friend is saying, that विकास पर लड़ रहे, विकास पर मुझे कह रहा है 2014 का चुनाव के बाद 19 के चुनाव पे हम विकास पर लड़े थे कि नहीं लड़े थे? अभी तो 2017 में नहीं, फिर बीच में मत बोलिए प्लीज। आप हर बार
सुनिए,
मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ, मैं कहूंगा कि मैंने विकास किया, आप कहेंगे राहुल गांधी जी कहते हैं विकास नहीं हुआ, अब मुलायम सिंह अखिलेश यादव कहते हैं विकास नहीं हुआ, तेजस्वी यादव कहते हैं विकास नहीं हुआ, जनता कह रही है विकास हुआ, जनता कह रही है विकास हुआ। फाइनली हम लोग डेमोक्रेसी, वी आर इन डेमोक्रेसी। अरे सुनो भाई, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। चुनाव क्या होता है? पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, व्हाट इज इलेक्शन?
आपने कहा कि कम,
मेरा क्या कहना है, व्हाट इज इन डेमोक्रेसी, व्हाट इज इलेक्शन, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ इलेक्शन? इलेक्शन इज द रेटिफिकेशन ऑफ द वर्क डन इन लास्ट 5 इयर्स। मैंने क्या कहा आपको कि हर 5 साल के बाद आपको समझ में नहीं आ रही है, मुझे लगता है बात, आप अपनी ही बातें बोल रहे हैं। What I'm trying to say, in every, मेरी बात सुनिए, 19 के बाद हम 24 में नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के काम को लेकर के जनता के बीच में जाएंगे। We will go to the work done by the Narendra Modi government between 2019 to 2024. It is already 2014 to 2009. What do you are
okay, so Ashwini Handa, I will take this question to you, but before that, let me take it to George Kurian, because he's spoken very less throughout the debate. George Kurian, why do you think the people of Gujarat have been getting BJP into power time and again? If there's no vikas, there's no development, why the BJP in Gujarat? I put a question to George Kurian. No, Ashwini, let him answer. I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you. I know you have too much on your mind too. I know, sir. I'll come back to you. Let George Kurian answer that.
खत्म करने दीजिए, मुझे इनकी रिप्लाई देनी है। इन्होंने 2014 का चुनाव लड़ा विकास पर।
आप तब से खत्म ही नहीं कर रहे सर। There are other people also waiting. No, please let me go across George Kurian. I'll come to you. Just let George Kurian answer.
देश से भीख मांगी।
Sucharita, as a political strategist,
George, please go ahead. Ji.
I would definitely, Sucharita, as a political strategist, if I'm asked for advice by the Congress party, I definitely would not inform or advise them to make such a statement. And secondly, I strongly believe the state president, Gujarat Congress state president, is on the same page as the Congress ideology, and he's understanding in what context Dr. Manmohan Singh made such a statement, and he's just giving room to BJP to make it big on national television. And this is nowhere going to help the Congress party in Gujarat in the upcoming assembly elections. Congress has appointed AICC in charges for every state. There are senior observers. They should first discuss with them before making such a public statement.
George, you made that. You made that point earlier. What I'm trying to say is that if there was no development or there was no work being done by the BJP, Sujata, why would the people of Gujarat choose BJP time and again? They should put them out of power.
Absolutely, and this is so basic that everybody, probably a 10-year-old kid, if you ask on the road that what is wrong with Congress, he'll be able to list out few things. Congress doesn't have the narrative, it doesn't have the leadership, it doesn't have the agenda, it doesn't have the role model of a state like how Narendra Modi had a Gujarat role model state, basis of which the people of India selected him as the Prime Minister of India. So that it's absolutely missing. They go to Chintan Shivir and make sure that the Gandhi Parivar keeps sitting on the throne. They go to they'll make committees, but make sure that the people who have never been elected by the people, it says, they're being there because they're close to the Gandhi families, are only voices which are heard. So I think this is why, any party, and you forget, you don't need a political strategist. You can just know someone who's just passed out from the college, ask them, list 10 things that the Congress can do in 2024. But Congress won't do that, because look at the core committee which advises them. They are the people who have never been elected, for God's sake. They are the people who are close to Gandhis. They are the people who are close to Sonia, Rahul, close circuit. They have they're the big. They must be having. So
I really don't know what Ashwini Handa ji thinks of this. I really do not know what Ashwini Handa thinks of this. But Savio, is that the closest shot they can take at power by making statements like these? That is the closest shot?
Well, it's very unfortunate that the Congress time and again decides to use the route of religious-based minorities to play vote bank politics. And that's sad, because this country is moved forward. It doesn't matter whether the person is a Hindu, Muslim or a Christian.
Exactly.
What matters is that he's an Indian working together towards development of India. So you ask the youth of India today, and most of them, the young India does not care what your religious beliefs are about. In fact, it's absolutely sad that we talk about minorities and we always refer to Muslims. We forget the Buddhists. We forget the Parsis.
Right.
We forget the Jains. Should I list down the other minorities? Are Muslims only the minorities?
Absolutely.
Every position in power, because of vote bank politics related to the minority, is given to a Muslim.
About Muslims.
Why?
When he speaks about the minorities having the first right over resources, he also speaks about a separate manifesto for the Muslims. He's not speaking about a separate manifesto for the Jains or the Buddhists, or the other minorities. He only cares about a manifesto for the Muslims. Why is that, Abid? Why is that?
I just want to add
and that is vote bank politics.
Just give me a 10 seconds.
Sucharita ji, Congress party to appease Muslims even divided this country. Still they are not satisfied. It was only one job. Congress party did only one job for this country. For appeasing Muslims, they gave around 30% land to Pakistan and now Bangladesh. Still they are believing in the same ideology, and their every action will lead to these kind of things. There is no need.
Right.
Baba Sahib Ambedkar Constitution does not permit these things.
Now it's up to the Congress party whether they want to move into the direction of development, on the route to the work that they've tried to do as an opposition in Gujarat, or they want to take this route of communal politics. It is left for the Congress to decide, because they've been taking this route time and again, and it hasn't worked. So it's up to the Congress to decide. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me on Burning Question.
Wherever you are, whenever you want. Republic Livestream, with you everywhere. Republic Livestream, India's #1 streaming news. Olympic champion Neeraj Chopra has qualified for his maiden World Championships final that's taking place in Oregon in the United States of America. Now Chopra opened the men's javelin throw Group A qualification round and sent his spear to 88.39 meters for his third career best throw. A forest fire broke out in the Kandi forest area in West Bengal's Murshidabad district. Now, there have been no casualties reported and the fire tenders were immediately rushed to the spot. Further details and probe into the forest fire is awaited. The Union Ministry of Civil Aviation has announced that airlines cannot charge an extra fee for issuing boarding passes at check-in counters. Now, the ministry has also added that the additional amount cannot be considered within the tariff as provided under Rule 135 of the Aircraft Rules of 1937.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
The Union Ministry of Civil Aviation has announced that aircraft carriers are not supposed to charge any extra fee for issuing boarding pass at check-in counters at the airports. The ministry claimed that airlines have been charging extra amount for boarding passes at the counters, which is wrong. The ministry also claimed that airlines charging the extra fee are not in accordance with the law. Meanwhile, the DGCA issued directives to tighten and improve its safety monitoring of aircrafts. Many airlines and its aircrafts were subjected to emergency landing and faulty parts last month. Earlier this month, a SpiceJet flight from Delhi to Dubai had to land in Karachi due to a technical snag with over 150 people aboard. The event, however, grabbed the attention of aviation regulator DGCA, which launched an investigation. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
The Amarnath Yatra has been halted again. 23rd batch of the Yatra has been suspended and pilgrims have been asked to halt. This comes after Met Department predicted inclement weather in the valley due to ongoing monsoon. The decision has been taken keeping in mind the safety of the pilgrims. The Amarnath Yatra began on June 30th this year. More than 65,000 pilgrims have already visited the shrine amid the tough weather condition. In the past few weeks, 16 deaths have been reported in the worst ever cloudburst that triggered flash floods near Amarnath Cave Shrine.
The batches from the Jammu Bhagwati Nagar base camp will be allowed. Pertinent to mention that weather has been always played a crucial role in the functioning of the Amarnath Yatra, and at the start of the Yatra an unfortunate incident has already unfolded due to cloudburst which has taken 15 lives.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
These were the scenes in Colombo late last night outside the premises of the Sri Lankan Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. Taking to streets, several protesters confronted armed security personnel over the prevailing crisis in the country. This, days after Ranil Wickremesinghe took oath as the new
And the Directorate of Enforcement (ED) is carrying out search operations at various premises linked to the recruitment scam in West Bengal School Service Commission and West Bengal Primary Education Board. And look at the money that has been recovered. There's cash here, there, everywhere. Look at the notes that are scattered all over. The ED is conducting the searches, and the persons being searched include Partha Chatterjee, who's the current Minister of Commerce and Industry and also Parliamentary Affairs, Electronics and IT in the government of West Bengal, and also the ex-Minister in charge of Education, Shri Paresh C. Adhikari, Minister of State for Education in the West Bengal government. Now, a packet with the ministry insignia has also been recovered from Partha's aid. Okay, so those visuals that are coming in, they're coming in from Bengal, where the ED is carrying out search operations, and the bundles of note that have been recovered, that exclusive video of ED's recovery that is being made. The Enforcement Directorate is searching out the premises of Partha Chatterjee, who's the current Minister of Commerce and Industry. And Shravan Sen, my colleague, joins us on the phone line. Shravan, now that is the video that we're showing to our viewers. There's cash everywhere, here, there, everywhere. Huge amount of money that is being recovered now.
Sucharita, we were the first network to get you details of the searches that were carried out earlier in the day by the Enforcement Directorate in the state of West Bengal. This is pertaining to the recruitment scam. Right now, what we are getting for our viewers is absolutely sensational. Let me just try and describe this for our viewers. On your screens right now, a packet that you see, this packet, if I may say so, raises several questions. And the questions are that what exactly is essentially a minister, Department of Higher Education, minister in charge's packet, a parcel like doing there. Now that's the bigger question. It's just raising some very serious, very uncomfortable questions at this point in time, because what you see in this particular on your screens right now, it says that on India Government Service, Minister in Charge, Department of Education, Government of West Bengal. Now, that's even more worrisome, because these searches were basically carried out at the premises of one person who goes by the name of Arpita Mukherjee. And Arpita happens to be, as the Enforcement Director puts it, a close aide of Minister Partha Chatterjee. And that is the reason why this becomes even more worrisome, and questions are essentially now being raised, Sucharita.
Thank you so much, Shravan, for joining us on that story. So that exclusive video, and as Shravan put it, the first network that brings you that video of the cash that is being recovered at the premises that are raided by the ED.
Amity University has been ranked number 22 amongst over 1,000 government and private universities in India by NIRF, Ministry of Education, Government of India. A testimony to Amity's excellence in education, research and innovation.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge. I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
Where the software engineer meets the gifted content writer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Livestream with you everywhere. Republic Livestream, India's #1 streaming news.
The Amarnath Yatra has been halted again. 23rd batch of the Yatra has been suspended and pilgrims have been asked to halt. This comes after Met Department predicted inclement weather in the valley due to ongoing monsoon. The decision has been taken keeping in mind the safety of the pilgrims. The Amarnath Yatra began on June 30th this year. More than 65,000 pilgrims have already visited the shrine amid the tough weather condition. In the past few weeks, 16 deaths have been reported in the worst ever cloudburst that triggered flash floods near Amarnath Cave Shrine.
The batches from the Jammu Bhagwati Nagar base camp will be allowed. Pertinent to mention that weather has been always played a crucial role in the functioning of the Amarnath Yatra, and at the start of the Yatra an unfortunate incident has already unfolded due to cloudburst which has taken 15 lives.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Livestream with you everywhere. Republic Livestream, India's #1 streaming news.
These were the scenes in Colombo late last night outside the premises of the Sri Lankan Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. Taking to streets, several protesters confronted armed security personnel over the prevailing crisis in the country. This, days after Ranil Wickremesinghe took oath as the new president of Sri Lanka.
We are the people who want to clean this nasty politics. We are the people. We never give up. Arragaleta, Jai Veva! Arragaleta, Jai Veva!
Discontent among the people of the island nation continues as civilians continue with the agitation, raising slogans "Go Ranil, Go."
नारेबाजी जो सुनाई दे रही है, दरअसल लोगों को जो हटाया गया है, ये वहां पर लोग प्रोटेस्टर्स नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं क्योंकि अब जोर जबरदस्ती करके आधी रात में इन लोगों को हटाया गया। यहाँ पर पूरी आर्मी तैनात है, एक दीवार यहाँ पर बना दी गई है।
ब्यूरो रिपोर्ट, रिपब्लिक टीवी।
Republic News Network is the only network to get you an aerial view.
सोनिया गांधी से ईडी पूछताछ नहीं कर सकती। इसको रोको यार, तुम हमें रखते हो इधर से। ये क्या मतलब है?
Chandigarh police has applied the water cannon to disperse the protesters.
And here's a look at some more news in brief this morning. India and the United Kingdom have signed an agreement to recognize each other's higher education qualifications in a move that is in sync with the 10-year roadmap to significantly expand overall bilateral ties. The announcement about the pact, which is set to benefit thousands of young people in both countries, was made by the British government on Thursday.
A massive political controversy is brewing after Gujarat Congress Chief Jagdish Thakur said at an event that minorities have the first right to properties and resources of this country. The BJP hits back at the Congress over the resources remarks, saying appeasement politics took the Congress to abyss. Har Ghar Tiranga now a national chorus as India prepares to mark 75 years of independence. Himanta Biswa Sarma speaks to Republic, says there's a massive revolt against the Vadras in Assam now. Delhi LG recommends probe into Delhi excise policy. Kejriwal claims Sisodia will be arrested in a fake case.
Where the software engineer meets the cool UI UX designer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
My app ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಆಟೋ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಹೊಸ ಅನುಭವ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಟೋ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ 29 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಗೂ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ 499 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಮಿಷನ್ 30% ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ದಿರ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಹಣನ ನಾವು ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ನಾವು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟ ಹಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ದುಡಿಮೆ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Amity University has been ranked number 22 amongst over 1,000 government and private universities in India by NIRF, Ministry of Education, Government of India. A testimony to Amity's excellence in education, research and innovation.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाइड क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Republic News Network is the only network to get you an aerial view.
सोनिया गांधी से ईडी पूछताछ नहीं कर सकती। इसको रोको यार, तुम हमें रखते हो इधर से। ये क्या मतलब है?
Chandigarh police has applied the water cannon to disperse the protesters.
And here's a look at some more news in brief this morning. India and the United Kingdom have signed an agreement to recognize each other's higher education qualifications in a move that is in sync with the 10-year roadmap to significantly expand overall bilateral ties. The announcement about the pact, which is set to benefit thousands of young people in both countries, was made by the British government on Thursday. Odisha sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik has created a sand sculpture congratulating the President-elect Draupadi Murmu at Puri Beach in Odisha. Wishes poured in from the political fraternity across party lines on the victory of Murmu, who will be India's first tribal president. Now, leader of the Congress party in the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, has hit out at the BJP following Sonia Gandhi's ED questioning, saying that the BJP wished to tarnish the image of the Gandhi family and the Congress party. The Congress leader said that the party has no issue with ED questioning Sonia Gandhi. The protest is against the intention of the questioning.
Heavy rainfalls are expected in Mumbai for the next 4 days.
A lot of people over here with tricolors commemorating the victory of Draupadi Murmu.
And here's a look at some news in brief now. Draupadi Murmu created history by becoming the 15th President of India. Her victory is significant as Murmu has become India's first tribal and second woman President of the country. Now, the NDA's presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu